What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. And you know exactly what time it is if you're seeing my face during a video during the week. It is time for my updated 2024 NFL mock draft. Now, I don't even remember if last week I did trades. I feel like the past few weeks I've been doing on and off trades, 1 week doing trades, 1 week without. But it's just I feel like it makes the mock draft so much more fun to do it with trades, to be quite honest with you, because there's just no way of knowing really any scenarios, especially this early in the season. But it's really, really fun to speculate. That's what we're all here for. That's why you clicked on the video. So before we get into it, if you guys enjoy videos like this, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before the 2024 NFL draft. And with your help, we could certainly get there. We're well on our way at this point. The numbers have been steadily increasing day by day. We are in the full swing of the NFL season, and it's my favorite time of year. So let's get into it right now, right away. Chicago Bears still possess the number one and number two overall pick. This, I believe the first pick, though, is since the Carolina Panthers, they are still winless. So yes, that would be their pick. And then you have the Chicago Bears, number two. Unprecedented scenario that we've seen. I don't remember. I believe we talked about this in my preseason mock draft for 2024 that I think it was like 1992 or 93 was the last time a team held the number one and number two overall picks. I believe that was the Rams. I could be wrong on that, but someone fact checked me on that. I believe it was sometime around there. So a scenario that we don't see too often. Here's the thing. In recent weeks, I know that the Chicago Bears did lose this past week to the Minnesota Vikings, but Justin Fields did get hurt. And not only that, Justin Fields has been playing much, much better. Granted, it was against the Denver Broncos, who gave up 70 before that. And then it was the Swiss cheese Washington Commanders defense as well. But here's the thing. I think he's sort of kind of coming into his own. We've seen some steadfast improvements from that horrible game against the Buccaneers, and I believe that was week 3. Since then, he's been steadily improving. And if he continues this trajectory, I think the Bears have an immense opportunity to rebuild their team instead of going after, that top quarterback, if that's Caleb Williams or Drake May by the title of this. I think you know where I'm going with the first quarterback taken off the board this week. I think that this is in a trade down spot. I don't think a quarterback is on the board right now. I've been getting thoroughly flamed on Twitter for taking Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears every week. Everyone, I guess, is still on the Justin Fields train, and I'm sort of kind of seeing the value in trading this number one overall pick, especially when you still have the number two overall pick. So this is going to be as good as gone, this number one overall pick, in my opinion. We're going to trade this number one overall pick to the Denver Broncos. I know it's not much of a trade down, but you could still get so much. And by the way, we've talked about this in previous weeks with the trades. This trade simulator on this website is absolutely broken. So since we're only doing one round mocks up until this point of the season, we're just going to make trades just to make the deal actually happen. We're not really going to worry ourselves with the trade compensation just yet. So this is a trade that's going to go through. It's the Denver Broncos. And for me, this number one overall pick is going to be Drake May this week. I know that some people probably already clicked off the video as soon as I just said that. But, there were some concerns that I had with Caleb Williams going into the season. Immensely talented. His processing skills are unbelievable. His athleticism, arm accuracy. It's just his play style is not sustainable. At least what he's doing in college is not sustainable at the NFL level. You cannot expect to take the snap and run around the pocket for 10 seconds waiting for your receivers to get open by 10 yards before you're making a throw. It's not sustainable, and we are seeing the downside of it the past 2 weeks. I believe that was against Arizona. He really did not look good. And then against Notre Dame, threw 3 interceptions, a couple really bad ones as well. Drake May is someone who's just, after a slow start to the season, has been steadily rising back up the board. He was always my quarterback too, but I just feel like from the reports that I've been reading, so many scouts see Drake May's pro-style approach to the quarterback position just much more sustainable than Caleb Williams. And to be quite honest with you, talent-wise, it's not really that far apart between Drake May and Caleb Williams, if it is at all. So I think Drake May, honestly speaking, is the more pro-ready quarterback, and it's just a disaster in Denver. I realize that they're going to have to do something with the Russell Wilson contract. I get it, but I know that his receivers haven't been really good. The offensive line hasn't been too much better than last year, but I, if Sean Payton's going to continue with the Denver Broncos after this season, I think he's going to go and he's going to get his own man. And we've seen that the Denver Broncos aren't shy about trading to get what they want. And I think what they want is Drake May. Now at number 2, now this opens a bevy of opportunities for other quarterback needy teams. Right here in the frame, we have potentially 4 teams, well, 5, I guess, even if you consider the Chicago Bears, that could be a viable option for Caleb Williams or any other quarterback that's on the board. Here, I think Arizona is pretty content with what they're doing so far this season, and it seems like they're going to kind of rest Kyler Murray for the entire season so he's back to full strength next year and progress with him there. So I think a quarterback is truly off the table for Arizona Cardinals at number 4. Number 5, you have the New York Giants. Now, hear me out. I know that the New York Giants are in a similar situation with the Denver Broncos where these quarterback contracts are just no good. I think that they can get out of the Daniel Jones contract after 2025 and it's still like a $22 million cap hit. It's a disaster of a contract, but Daniel Jones, he's such a polarizing player because so many people believe in him, so many people do not. Living in New York myself, I see it on a daily basis where people are like, he has no O-line, he's got no weapons, and then some are like, Jesus Christ, he's completely oblivious to pressure. All 3 of those honestly are true, but I think this is another trade down spot for Chicago. You have the first 2 picks. I mean, and then you end up still would be number 3 and number 5, and you end up with just more draft capital for the future, and you continue to build this team from the ground up. So I am going to be making another trade. I know that some people, it's not realistic. I don't care. I think it's realistic, especially with the situation that the Chicago Bears are in. I think this is very realistic. This could be a possibility. So we're going to go with the New York Giants at number 2. And I guess that'll get it done. I tell you, this trade engine is completely broken on this website. My only complaint about this website, by the way, this is an awesome website. I know Denny, the owner and proprietor of this website, he is an awesome guy. I always tell him, dude, your trade engine is broken. We're going to take Caleb Williams here at number 2. It's just the fact of the matter. I mean, I can't even explain it any other way. I feel like if he gets past number 1, we're going to see an onslaught of these teams just bombarding the Chicago Bears with trade offers. And one team is going to make an offer that they can't refuse. How you doing? And I think it's going to be the New York Giants. Caleb Williams is the pick at number 2. Now Chicago is going to trade down again. I'm just kidding. Chicago at number 3. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board. That's going to be the pick. Pretty straightforward there. Arizona is an interesting scenario. Brock Bowers is on the board. Olaf Ashanu is on the board. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Jared Verse. Now, I'm not going to lie. This might be the unpopular pick, but I've done a player profile on this player so far this season, and I think he is much better than people are giving him credit for. Some say he's not a top 5 talent. I tend to disagree. I think he's going to be excellent at the next level. The beautiful blend of size, power, speed, athleticism. It's going to be Jared Verse for me. And you're forgetting, this is a defensive-minded coach that has switched his personnel from last year to this year from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and they still don't really have the necessary personnel per se to kind of run it effectively. So Jared Verse is going to be the pick. He automatically becomes the best pass rusher in Arizona. And then subsequently enough, if Olaf Ashanu is on the board, you already know that we're taking Olaf Ashanu, the best offensive tackle prospect in years. He was my tackle number 1 last year if he would have entered the draft. This year, he's also my tackle number 1. Just excellent player. Hasn't given up a sack. I don't even think he's given up a pressure this season either. He's a tremendous player. No brainer here. Chicago definitely needs some offensive line help. New England at number 6. This is going to be a trade down spot, and this is going to be, I mean, it's the New England Patriots. It's Bill Belichick. Presumably, it's still Bill Belichick. This is going to be a trade down spot. I cannot see the New England Patriots drafting this high, even if they do have this pick. This is going to be a trade down spot here. We are going to trade with the Los Angeles Chargers here. So we're going to move down a few spots, and I think that the Chargers are in some real desperate need of just a weapon. I mean, you could see how different the offense is even when Mike Williams is out. Mike Williams is a tremendous player, tremendous downfield player when he's healthy. Keenan Allen has just been Keenan Allen, but when he's hurt, it's detrimental to the offense. Austin Eckler is not Austin Eckler this year. We haven't seen much of Quentin Johnston at all. It's clear that you need just a versatile X factor type weapon, and for me that's Brock Bowers. And I think it might be, some people might think it's crazy to move up 4 spots that when you're already in the top 10, to get a tight end, but I think we can all agree that Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end prospect in terms of, because scouting is so much more different now than it was back then. I don't think people looked at Rob Gronkowski and went, that is the best tight end prospect I've ever seen, or Travis Kelce and go, that's the best tight end prospect we've ever seen. I could even go out on a limb and saying that Brock Bowers, with the way that scouting is, and everyone's an internet scout nowadays, myself included. I guess I can call myself that. I'm not even. But Brock Bowers, to me, is the best tight end prospect we've ever seen. Does that mean that he's going to be the greatest tight end of all time? Probably not. But he is the best tight end prospect I've ever seen. I think that this is a player that's well worth trading up for if you're already in the top 10. Brock Bowers is going to be the pick at number 6. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be Michael Penix Jr. This is a pick I've made at a bevy of different locations in the first round so far. It's just such a match, and until I see something differently, I'm not going to change it. Michael Penix Jr. has, if Caleb Williams is still your number 1 overall quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. has an argument to be number 2. He is the darling. He's the apple of my eye for this draft class. I can't get enough of Michael Penix Jr. Big Penix energy. Number 8, Tennessee Titans. Pretty simple if they're drafting this high. They desperately need some offensive lineup. Joe Alt is offensive tackle number 2, in my opinion. A little bit unrefined, but he has all the tools. I think that he's going to be great at the next level. And then another tackle comes off the board here. This is going to be Amarius Mims for Green Bay. I was really considering Cooper DeJean, or I was considering Cameron Kinchins as well. But we know Green Bay. Green Bay is really all about kind of like beefing up their lines and beefing up their secondary, I feel like, in the first round. That's all we've really seen for quite some time. And Amarius Mims, maybe some people might think that he's not a top 10 player, but he is really fantastic. And I've said it in weeks prior. Georgia is just a tackle-producing machine the past few years, and they've got another great one. And Green Bay really needs to think about replacing David Bakhtiari. I believe he's already taken his final snap in a Green Bay Packers uniform, and Amarius Mims would be an excellent replacement. Number 10, New England Patriots with their new pick. This is going to be J.J. McCarthy, people. Mac Jones sucks. And I don't think Bailey Zappe's much better. And I think J.J. McCarthy is a top 10 worthy quarterback. Sue me. I've staked my claim in weeks past. I did a player profile on him. I think he's got all the intangibles to be an excellent NFL quarterback. He's got incredible ball placement, great arm strength, insane athletic ability. He is a prototypical modern-day quarterback build. And I think New England needs a modern-day quarterback, not a Mac Jones who we've already seen hit his ceiling in his rookie year. That's not what we want to see. Unless he's throwing for 55 touchdowns and 6 interceptions and he wins you the Super Bowl in his rookie year, you don't want to see a rookie hit their ceiling. J.J. McCarthy's the pick. Number 11, maybe a little bit of a... Some people might think it's a reach. Edge, defensive line in general for the New Orleans Saints, could be a need here. You have some players that are very interesting. Dallas Turner, don't really think he fits the type of style that the New Orleans Saints play on defense. Chop Robinson is someone that is still super high on my board. Maybe not round 1 just yet, but he's certainly coming into his own. You have Jerzon Newton here, which is a really, really nice pick. But the secondary of the New Orleans Saints is super old at this point. And Cooper DeJean is the top safety on the board. I think this is pretty straightforward. Like I said before, with the Green Bay Packers, could be the same thing with the New Orleans Saints. I think it could be either Cooper DeJean, Cameron Kinchins. They both fit so well in that defense, but it's going to be DeJean for me, just for the versatility aspect of it as well. He can return punts. He could play cornerback even. I think he's going to be a great player at the next level. Now, Atlanta at number 12 was a super puzzling position for me because you have 4 quarterbacks off the board already. Is Bo Nix a top 12 player? No, I don't think so. Some people might not argue J.J. McCarthy is too, but we don't see eye to eye on that. But Atlanta seems like a really nice trade down candidate here. There's so many players on the board, to be fair, that could help them right away. But I feel like at this point, if there's no quarterback on the board that they're willing to take at number 12, I feel like you have to just try again in a few picks and acquire some future assets. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The Indianapolis Colts might not look like a team right now that want to trade up, but it's only going to be a few spots. And here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so Atlanta is going to trade to Indianapolis, well, not Jacksonville, Indianapolis here. We're going to trade down a few spots. And the reason being is there is a player on the board that I don't think Indianapolis wants to slip any further, and that's Kool-Aid McKinstry. You jump teams like Arizona and Las Vegas that are looking for a cornerback, and a cornerback hasn't come off the board yet. This is a little bit of a weaker cornerback class that we're used to seeing. That doesn't mean that guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kalen King, those guys are still ballers and still well worth the trade up for. The Indianapolis Colts, they could use some line help here. They could use another wide receiver, but they went into the 2023 season with a super young secondary. And while Julius Brents and a couple of those guys have played well, I still think you need a influx of some elite talent. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry could be that elite talent that that secondary of the Indianapolis Colts is looking for. So that's the reason why I traded up here. Arizona at pick number 13, it's going to be a wide receiver for me, and it's going to be Keon Coleman. Dude is a baller. He's the number 2 overall wide receiver. A lot of people say it's Emeka Egbuka, Malik Neighbors, even Romo Dunze, some people say, but Keon Coleman is just an absolute freak. If you didn't see that catch that he made over the weekend, please go back and watch. Just look up Keon Coleman catch. Probably be the first thing that comes up. Incredible player. And this would form a really nice young core of Michael Wilson, Keon Coleman, and Rondell Moore, maybe even Marquise Hollywood Brown if he decides to resign. I don't think he will. That's the reason why I'm going with receiver here, but I think it would be a great fit. The Raiders at pick number 14, a lot of ways that you can go. Again, not in love with the quarterbacks here. Not really Kalen King would be a really nice option here at number 14, but I'm going to address the defensive line, and it's going to be Jerzon Newton. This is the farthest that Jerzon Newton has fallen in any of my first-round mocks in a long time. But it's just the way that the board is falling. If the Arizona Cardinals didn't take Jared Verse at number 4, Jerzon Newton probably would have been my pick at number 13. Still was considering it there, but I think you need some kind of offensive weapon at pick number 13. This would just be excellent. Tyree Wilson, Max Crosby, Jerzon Newton for the long-term future is just too good to pass up, in my opinion, for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Atlanta Falcons, we are back to the Falcons here at pick number 15. This is much more palatable. I was going to say palatable, but that's not a word. This is much more palatable for the Atlanta Falcons. I like Dallas Turner a lot here. Don't forget that the Atlanta Falcons kind of sort of revamped their defensive line and are still like close to the bottom, maybe like 28th in the league in sacks. I think they just scrape over double-digit sacks with like 10 so far throughout 6 games. It's not great. Dallas Turner is that type of outside linebacker, edge player that reminds me of Will Anderson, reminds me of Micah Parsons. He's having an insane year, 2 forced fumbles, 7 sacks so far this year. I think he's going to be an excellent player at the next level, and he is the type of athletic speed rusher that the Atlanta Falcons really, really need on their defensive line. So maybe a little bit of a disappointing pick for you Atlanta Falcons fans. I'm sorry, but I think I would be super stoked about that if I were you. Washington at 16, still clear. Sam Howell's getting destroyed back there. J.C. Latham, 6'6" or 6'7", depending on who you talk to, 360 pounds, absolute beast. Has shown the ability to be able to lose that weight too and play at a much more controlled 335 pounds. So that was the one concern I had with him. Is his weight going to be out of control, like a Mekhi Becton situation where it's out of his control, the weight issue, but is it controllable? Can he play throughout the season and lose weight, get leaner? And that's exactly what he can do. So J.C. Latham is the pick here. Number 17, my New York Jets. I don't like this spot at all, to be honest with you. I'm not in love with the tackles that are left for pick number 17. Some of these guys would be perfect maybe a little bit later on in the first round. I think there's too much talent on the board to be taking someone like Kingsley Suamatio or Patrick Paul this early. I know it is a need. Oh man, I really want to take like Emeka Egbuka or Malik Neighbors. Even Cameron Kitchens is a player that I would love to see in the Jets secondary, but I'm going to be smart here. I'm not going to overreach. I'm going to trade down. I feel like this is a really nice spot. The New York Jets are kind of desperate for some assets in this year's draft. I know getting back this first round pick because of the unfortunate Aaron Rodgers situation was good in a bittersweet way, but I think they need to trade down. They need to reassess a little bit later on in the first round. There's still a player on the board that probably shouldn't even be here at pick number 17, and there's a team that's going to come and get him, and that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Are going to trade with the New York Jets, and they're going to trade up. What is that? I can do math. 8 spots. They're going to trade up, and they're going to come and get Kalen King. I think this would be the piece de resistance for that defense. I mean, Stephon Gilmore has been really, really good so far, but he is not a long-term option at his age. Even if he comes back for next year, you get a healthy Trayvon Diggs, you get Stephon Gilmore, you get Kalen King. that is just an incredible trio you would have back there. Cincinnati at pick number 18. Emeka Egbuka is going to be the pick here for me. I mean, whether you want to deploy him on the outside or deploy him in the slot, you're going to need a replacement for Tyler Boyd. I don't see him coming back, and maybe even T. Higgins as well. So replacing Tyler Boyd with Emeka Egbuka would be, in my opinion, a massive upgrade. That's no disrespect to Tyler Boyd. I just think athletically and route tree-wise, Emeka Egbuka is able to do so much more than Tyler Boyd. Number 19, you have the very surprising LA Rams so far this year. And this is going to be an outside linebacker for me. This is going to be, that's not the right place. This is going to be Laiatu Latu. And I know that he got shut down against Oregon State this past week, but this guy is an absolute beast. This is what the Rams are looking for at an outside linebacker position. 6'5", 265 pounds, extremely athletic. He is an animal when it comes to rushing the passer. And this could be just another young, malleable piece. I can't speak today. I just came back from vacation, so still a little bit of vacation brain. He is a piece that could be molded. Raheem Morris could put him on either side of the defensive lineup, and I think he'd be just a really, really great piece for a defensive coordinator like Morris to use. And an upgrade, absolute upgrade, no doubt about that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick number 20, another strange spot. I think Baker Mayfield is playing good enough ball to where he can come back and be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback for sure. I want to take a wide receiver here so bad. I really do. I just want to add to the secondary, to be quite honest with you. Cameron Kinchens is a player that I just feel like I can envision him being all over the defense. So very surprisingly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a really, really sound defense so far this year. I know they lost some players. They're also getting older, so I didn't think they were going to be as good as they are, but they truly are a very, very formidable unit. And to not add to that would be a little bit silly, in my opinion, especially someone as versatile and as skilled as Cameron Kinchens, especially ball hawking wise. I think this would be a really nice addition. Maybe not the most glaring need, maybe not a need at all, but just adding another athlete to that secondary would be awesome. The Houston Texans at pick number 21. I made this pick. These next few picks are picks that I've made in last week, I believe. So I'm not even going to really talk much about it. I'm just going to make the picks. At number 21, you have the Houston Texans. I'm taking Leonard Taylor. I think that would be a really nice upgrade. Pair another young player with Will Anderson on that defensive line. Seattle is going to be Chris Jenkins. Same thing as last week. Just it needs someone in the middle of that defensive line just to kind of reset that whole defensive line. The pass rushers are having a tough time getting there because the interior of the defensive line hasn't really been able to move much. And Chris Jenkins is someone that can move a lot. Pittsburgh Steelers at number 23. This is going to be Nate Wiggins again. I just think if a team doesn't play, if they're on a bye, I don't think there's a reason to change the pick unless that player is already gone. So Wiggins is a really nice fit in Pittsburgh. Buffalo at pick number 24. Pretty straightforward. If he's on the board, it's going to be Malik Neighbors. We don't know what's going to happen with Gabe Davis. He's playing like a wide receiver one, and he might want to be a wide receiver one on a different team. You never know with Stephon Diggs. If the Buffalo Bills don't win the Super Bowl, he could be out for all we know. This is a really, really nice insurance policy, and he leads the FBS in receiving yards right now. Are we through 7 or 8 weeks? I can't even remember of the college football season, but regardless, he is the FBS leader in receiving yards, and he is incredible. My New York Jets at pick number 25. This is a much better spot to take Kingsley Suamataia, an absolute freak of a offensive tackle, super athletic. We know that Joe Douglas loves his big boys. This is a huge man, 6'7", 330 pounds, a huge guy that can move like I don't want to say a tight end. That's kind of crazy, but he can move like a guard at the tackle position. That's exactly what you want, and that's exactly what Joe D wants. I said Joe D, JD. Jacksonville Jaguars at pick number 26. I think we're still looking for some type of movement on the interior of the defensive line. Not necessarily outside linebacker, but Braylon Trice is a player that I think has a big enough frame to play on the interior, put his hand in the ground, and rush the passer from a 3-4. 6'4", 275 pounds, huge arms, huge wingspan, really, really strong. I think that he would be able to move the line from the interior. So he's going to be my pick at number 26, especially with the defensive backs that are taken off the board so far. I don't think it would make sense for Jacksonville themselves to take a defensive back right now. I think there are a little bit more pressing needs on that defensive line, so I'm going to go with Braylon Trice. Number 27, you have the Baltimore Orioles. You have the Baltimore Ravens. Same pick as last week as well. When I make same picks, I don't usually go too much into it. I'm sorry if you're a new viewer and you don't know the reason why. I just don't want to repeat myself, so I will say a quick thing. Denzel Burke is someone who, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't a fan of as a first-round corner, but he's really, really played well so far this season, and he's the main reason why Ohio State has such a good defense. Detroit Lions at pick number 28. They're picking at 28. Oh my God. I saw on some power rankings this week, the Detroit Lions at number 1. Pardon my French, when the fuck have you ever seen the Detroit Lions be ranked number 1 in the NFL? It's so cool to see. I love it. At this point in the NFL, everyone's second favorite team is the Detroit Lions. They are so fun to watch. Dan Campbell is so cool. Such a great head coach. Amazing. Kamari Lassiter. I was going to say Letitia. You know what? For the sake of this video, I'm going to say Kamari Letitia. So Kamari Letitia is the pick for me here. He's given up like 2 catches all season. He's an incredible man corner as well. Super fast, 4.38 speed. Something that could really replace that talent that Detroit has lost on the outside or will lose in free agency in the offseason. Miami at pick number 29. Going to go for a little bit more of a traditional tackle here. I'm going to go for Patrick Paul. Last year, he had an incredible 90.2 PFF grade, run blocking and pass blocking combined. And I thought there's no way he could top it. He's probably going to be a little bit more of the same. He's already up to a 92 so far this season. Obviously not the same sample size, but he's been incredible. And I know he plays CUSA or whatever competition, but he's just been incredible. Such a tough position to master. And I think Patrick Paul is one of the better later first round offensive tackles on the board. San Francisco 49ers at pick number 30. This is going to be Cooper Beebe for me. Talked about this guy a lot. Love him. Has fallen a little bit in this week's mock than in weeks previously. But just a guy, insane line versatility. This is a San Francisco 49ers team that's coming off of a loss, but that could be your long-term Trent Williams replacement. That could be a guard. He could even play center. He's got incredible line versatility, and I think that's so important in today's NFL. 31, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be Rome Odunze here. I think this would be the best. Out of all the picks I've made for Kansas City, I think this would be the best. I believe last week I had them trade up to get Malik Neighbors, but Odunze falls into their lap here, pick number 31. They don't have to give up any assets. 6'3", 215 pounds. Incredible with the ball in his hands. He's a downfield winner. He could win over the middle. He's a really, really good wide receiver and would be probably the X factor that Patrick Mahomes is looking for besides for Travis Kelce. Last pick in the first round here, Philadelphia. The linebacking core needs an upgrade, absolutely. Barrett Carter would be the pick for most, but I'm going to go with his teammate in college, Jeremiah Trotter. I think this pick makes a lot of sense. I don't think Philly's taken a linebacker in the first round since 1987 or something close to that. It's something really long time ago, but those trends don't matter to me. If the player is good and that's a need, you go out and get him. And Jeremiah Trotter is a big upgrade for the Philadelphia Eagles after losing, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, guys like that. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my 2024 NFL mock draft with trades after week 6 of the NFL season. A lot more trades than I usually make. 5 is a lot for me to make in the first round. It's usually 3. After pick number 15, I don't usually make trades for the most part, but this one was super fun. And I think this was a lot different than what I'm used to doing. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.